Sensitive or seeker who wants to learn more? Welcome to the Mystic School with SARA WISEMAN, where we dive deep into all things mystic and metaphysical. Here's Sarah.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mystic School. I'm so glad to have you with us today as we work our way through December. And feels like it's going pretty fast. Today, we're just a few days, or I guess tomorrow is our big full moon in Gemini. And for those of you who've been feeling the effects, different full moons affect different people depending on where their signs are, where their charts are. But we've also got some Mars action following on the heels. So if you're feeling slightly agitated, conflict oriented, irritated, just kind of, always laying low is not a bad choice during full moons. If you're feeling edgy, I usually know I'm feeling edgy. Sometimes I just, the full moon comes and that night, the few nights before, the few nights after, I'm woken up by the moon, regardless of how the curtains are, or I just wake up and feel edgy, or I have terrible, awful nightmares. And so that's kind of what it's been like for me. So best case scenario, if this is your experience these next few days, is just, be easy on yourself. Drop out of things that you think you should be doing and do less of that, which leads us to our topic for today. Does rest and retreat change us? And winter brings a chance to retreat, rest, and grow, still opening more deeply into our spiritual selves. And obviously stillness does change us, and yet here we are in the probably one of the most hectic, busiest times of year. So it's kind of like we're at this place of how do we create this stillness in our lives, even when the not collective soul, but group consciousness or group thought is driving us toward more and more busyness. For those of you guys who signed up for the Entering Stillness mini retreat we have going on right now, registration is closed, but I've been noticing the comments coming in from all the people in that group who are sort of looking at this idea of, am I allowed to drop out of these traditions that I've been doing for years and years and decades and maybe even generations? Am I allowed to just not do that stuff? And the freedom and overwhelm when people are realizing that instead of, I don't know, people don't go to the mall as much as they used to, but instead of going to the mall, or instead of scurrying around trying to shop and cook and do all this and that while on top of your regular work schedule, people are realizing that they don't have to do this stuff. They can pare down, they can opt out, they can do the things that their hearts are really calling for. And here's where we get to the place about how rest and retreat, as we follow the cycles of nature. The trees are not running around doing their Christmas shopping or their holiday shopping right now. The trees are in deep, entering into that dormant stage where they're just pulling in and resting deeply for the growing year to come. And we are also part of nature, right? It's not that we're so different. All of the season, all of the nature, all of the wildlife, it goes into this slower state. Now, I'm aware some of you guys are in a different hemisphere, so of course you're having the opposite. But speaking to those guys in Northern Hemisphere now, this idea of rest and retreat is what the natural cycle is about. We do have free readings Tuesday today, and I would love it if you wanted to call in early, 888-298-5569, 888 298-5569. This is just a shorter show, and so calling it early assures that you can get a spot. Lines are completely open right now. So again, if you want to call in for free readings Tuesday, 888-298-5569, and I'd love to chat with you about some of the things that are going on in your life. Some of the things I've been thinking about during this period of rest and reflection, and my process is I do opt out of most of it. We do a holiday celebration that's little, we do some holiday stuff, but mostly my intention or my practice during this time of year is to go as deeply as I can into this period of rest and dreaming. This is a period of time where I do a lot of reading, where I try and make my schedule as pared down as is possible, which isn't, we all have work and so forth. And I personally try and get out into nature a lot, because even if it's cold, like it was recently snowing here, and this idea of tromping around in the rain or the snow or the mud or the cold is really useful, because it allows different stuff to come into your awareness. For example, it snowed yesterday here in Portland, where I am. I know a lot of you guys are up in Seattle, and it snowed there too. But anyway, it snowed in Portland. Very exciting. Woo, it's snowing. And it wasn't going to snow too much, which is the best, the best kind of snow. And so things were a little bit shut down where I live, which is a little bit hilly. And so I journeyed out for a walk, and the walk took me to a very large series of cemeteries that are sort of on this hill over the river here in Portland. And it's not just one cemetery. It's like there's one cemetery, and then there's the next, and then there's the next, and then there's the next. So it's like 4, maybe even 5 cemeteries all together, this large acreage of cemeteries. And to be in the snow, nobody was there, except for, of course, the departed were there, wandering around, watching the birds and the squirrels and the snow falling, and having this idea of the quietness of everything was really, it was like being in another world or another land. And I find that every time, for me, going into nature, even if it's city nature, creates this sort of level of enchantment, or this diffuse stimulation that is so different than what we're experiencing in our work, where we might be on computers a lot, or we might be on internet a lot, or we might be dealing with lots of people a lot. And this diffuse aspect of the frequency, the energy, the quiet, this mix of the departed. There were thousands there, very old cemetery, pioneer type stuff. The departed, the indigenous also were in this area for long time. And the utter lack of modern day people and process in this space. And it just created this kind of oasis of awakening, or this portal in which to get really, really clear. It's hard to explain. And so here, this is just a few blocks from my house. So I might be on computer, answering emails, doing some recording, teaching, all the things that I do, reading the Kardashians, whatever it is I'm doing. And then you just take all that away and you step out and you go to this other part of the world that is right where you live, because all of us have, even if you live in the most dense city, there is a spot or a place where you can go where this kind of portal to the other worlds exist. And I find the more I travel around, these portals are everywhere. You just come across something and you tune in and you feel, what do you feel? The magic, the enchantment, the difference, this sort of feeling of there's going to be something amazing happening here. And we don't have to figure it out. Like, we don't need to know, okay, here I am in this ancient pioneer cemetery. That's why I'm feeling the magic, because the departed are so active. I didn't really feel that at all. I felt that here was a place dedicated to stillness and reflection that was made even more still by the beauty of the snow and the nature response to the snow, which for the trees to go deeper, for the animals to be out in a different way, and just this intentional switch to go into stillness. And for me, it was also really amazing, because I tend to feel let down by myself because I'm not a great meditator on the cushion. I'm not a yoga practitioner. I'm not a person that can go into stillness in a room for long periods of time like lots of you guys can do in your practice. That's not me. For me, the two big channels of how I go into this space are, well, the three: dreaming and my own journeying meditation. That's one. Nature and music. So finding these places where you can be assisted by the vibration or the frequency that takes you into these altered states, these magical states, these spiritual states. And again, you're not working on any particular outcome. I don't go to walk in the cemetery in the snow because, like, okay, I'm gonna get my first chakra opened up for sure today. I don't have any goal. I'm completely detached from outcome. I guess, the only outcome I'm hoping for is, have a safe trip and don't injure myself while I'm there. Other than that, and even so, if that were to happen, that would be part of the experience also. But going there with this sense of curiosity, no big thing has to happen. You're just there as a part of, we talk about the hum of the universe, experiencing. And then this opens you in ways that reading all the books in the world doesn't do it, or going to all the classes, or taking all the yoga, or whatever it is you do. This little simple thing of opening into awareness is what begins to make this change. It shows you a different way of tuning in. And then, of course, you take that experience, you remember how to tune in when you're in nature, when you're in this quiet, blissful space, and then you take that into your regular life of, now I'm in traffic. What did that feeling feel like? That enchanted feeling? I'm going to use that in the same way. Now I'm in conflict with a family member. What did that feeling feel like? Now I'm going to take that same feeling of enchantment, magic, curiosity, openness, lack of attachment to outcome. I'm going to take that feeling in. And above all, last piece, then we're going to go to the phones. But above all, it's this feeling of relaxation in the moment. We're not pressured to do any particular thing. We're not pressured. There's no place to go. There's no place to be. We simply are being here now. Thank you, Ram Dass. We're being here now. And that's plenty. That's the miracle of this lifetime. Okay, we're going to go to the phones. And again, call in for free readings Tuesday, 888-298-5569, 888-298-5569. And we have Deanna from Connecticut. Deanna, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes.
And I just signed up for your psychic course.
Hmm.
So I've been called my whole life to do healing work with the dead, I think. And I I've sort of been in this, like, my life. I had so much change in a short period of time. From 2017, my daughter, I got divorced. I moved my business of 20 years. I moved myself. And then it culminated basically with my daughter passing away at 21 years old, about just like a few weeks ago.
Oh.
And I just keep getting called, but I have this major obstacle of I've got all this stuff, physical stuff. I had a lot of fear in my life of about the physical world, about from childhood, and it's still so I have all this physical stuff that I don't want, and I've been stuck. I can't get rid of it. And then my mother-in-law died, my daughter died, and I have their stuff now. And my father-in-law is moving, and I have his stuff, and I've got so much stuff, and I can't move forward, and I can't move forward in my life because of this.
And you mean physical stuff as in furniture and objects, is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
physical, and all my physical stuff from medical school 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And just stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Well, it's interesting. It's like I'm very sorry about your daughter, and that's maybe a different discussion than what the question is. But so you for some reason around 2017 or maybe before that, but just we'll say it started around then, you began to go through what I would call a very accelerated process of spiritual opening. And it is common during these periods of acceleration for everything to be horrible. Everything doesn't work, or we lose people we love, or the things that we couldn't imagine, the worst things come to pass, and or just the process of change is so fast and so intense. It's like, what's even happening? Like the sand is shifting under your feet and you can't get a moment to catch your breath. So you're at the end part of this journey now. And as you release the physical stuff, all of the emotional stuff will also be released. And so I would suggest, as you get to, you could do it now, you could do it at the beginning of the year. Now would be better, but start to release, go person by person and start to release the stuff with the least emotional charge based on whose it was, and just start letting it go. And maybe your daughter's is maybe the stuff that you keep for quite some time even, but the rest of it, you just make this decision or this intention and you just give it all away. How does that feel? Like you just give it all away. You don't necessarily sell it. You don't try and find the right place for it. You just donate it. What does that feel like?
Well, that's kind of been the dilemma of, I had this, like, it might be gone by now. I this fear about money, like insecurity, financial insecurity, and so I was always, and I'm not financially insecure. I mean, not by, I have, I mean, I own three houses, land. I mean, it's like silly in a way. I mean, seriously, if I say that to somebody who knows my situation, yet I feel financially insecure, and I keep thinking, oh, I should sell these things. I should sell all of this.
Yeah.
And then, so I I think, okay, then I think about the process of selling it, and I think it's such a waste of time. I can make more money helping people than I could make selling this stuff. So
Yeah,
I still have
yeah. Well,
that
so I
internal
think,
battle.
yeah, it's funny. I don't know if you were listening earlier, but this idea of, I mentioned like we're gonna clear up our first chakra by going to on the walk in the cemetery, and I was just pulling that out of nowhere. But that's what you're working on. You're working on first chakra, and
Yeah.
first chakra is all about super, super, super actually trusting the universe, even though maybe you haven't been raised to trust the universe. Maybe you've been raised to be hyper vigilant and hold on to everything and hoard everything and be ready for the bad thing to come. And you've already been through some of the worst things, maybe the worst thing.
Yes.
So you don't have to hang on to this fear that may or may not ever happen again.
Okay.
The freedom that comes from just giving your stuff away, and people, especially people that would be your daughter's age, they all need, everybody's broke. They need a sofa. They need silverware. Just go give it away. People are in all kinds of situations, are scrambling to get these basics. And it feels like the amount of change from you releasing it all quickly would be astounding. Okay. And maybe you need to get somebody to help you. Maybe you need to call somebody and say, please take it all. It's all free.
No, I need to just do it myself.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But like, this doesn't get better. The only solution, the only spiritual solution is to give it all away. Anything else is a worldly solution, right? Because the question is, do you trust the universe? Universe is saying, show us, let it all go. Do you trust the universe? Let it all go. And once you've got that lesson, we can proceed with the next lessons.
I know.
Yeah, which is, but you've been through some of the hardest stuff you're going to go through, maybe even the hardest of your entire life. You've already been through. So that's not coming around again.
Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. It's an odd time of year because it's not really the time that people would normally be doing this, but it feels like you could have most of it done by end of year if you really put your mind to it. Got 3 weeks still. It'd be lovely.
Yes, it would be. It would be absolutely. All right, I'm going to set the intention. I'm going to make it happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we'll start this course that you're in January. It'd be perfect timing to have just sailed through that. Yeah. Okay. Well, Deanna, I'm going to let you go. I see we have another caller. I'm going to try and get them in before the end of the show, but thank you for calling. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, looks like we have a quick time left for Ivy from Bothell. Ivy, welcome to the program. What can I help you out with?
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
I'm just feeling like there's no productivity in my life. Like there's a blockage or no flow, or I don't know. Any insight?
Yeah, I do. It's what comes, like, you're just bored. You're not doing what you really want to do because it would create so much change in, relationships, or the way, your day-to-day life, or you're just sort of like, you've kind of given up the idea like you can, or you deserve, or you can allow yourself to do what you actually want to do. And so you're kind of in this mud of like, well, I can't do that, which you can. I can't do that, so I guess I'll just stay here and wait until I die. And that is not a fun place to be. The bigger, higher possibility is, I really want to do this. I'm going to really let myself know what my heart wants to do, and I'm going to do it, even though that's going to create a lot of change in my life. I'm going to be not afraid of that change, or I'm going to be afraid of the change and do it anyway.
So sounds like I've sunk to the bottom of the well, and maybe I need to be more in my heart than my head.
Definitely. And, we were just talking earlier about this idea of going into places where you can kind of feel the enchantment again. Like, whatever this is for you. For me, it's nature and just dreaming, and wherever the universe speaks to you the most easily, go spend more time there. And it's not going to be, the computer or doing the things you normally do. It's going to take a disruption of your basic habits and trying something different to get those wheels turning again.
Instead of cleaning house, go for
Oh my goodness, yes.
floor.
We are not here. I mean, we have to do the basics, but we are not here to just do the chores of life. We're here to have life as, so spend some time thinking of, what is your true dream for this life? And there is still time to experience that. There really is.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, really let yourself, like, I'm trying to think of an easy example. I mean, for me, it's really simple because I like to do things, I like to go to the river here, and I love to do that. And I'm trying to do that like every couple days. It's not a big achievement, but the amount of joy it brings makes everything else come together. Just like think of, what do you really enjoy that you haven't done in a long time, and go try that and see how different you start to feel over time.
Yeah. Well, It's like play first and then do the work.
Absolutely. Enjoy first, then do the work. Play some more. Pretty soon you're just enjoying and playing and experiencing, and your life takes on a whole different level of meaning. And all the shoulds and the chores, is like, what are those? We really don't need to spend a whole lot of time on that kind of stuff. Anyway, hey Ivy, thanks for calling. I gotta run, but I appreciate your call. Everybody, yeah, thanks for listening to the Mystic School. I'm SARA Wiseman. Find me at sarawiseman.com. Lots of great self-study courses for those of you who are seeking a boost for your exploration as we move into 2023 soon. Thanks for listening, everybody.